Welcome, everybody, to Fancounters. My name's Nick.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here this week with Johnny Alonso, who has been an actor in Hollywood for over 20 years. And you might say, hey, you interviewed him last week.
We did. It was so good, we just kept going.
We did. And Johnny was really nice because he's like, I have to take a break if you want to keep this going, but call me back. So that's what we did.
That's right.
And so I would love for you guys to enjoy the second half of the interview with Johnny Alonso.
Coming to you from nowhere near the entertainment capital of the world, this is Fancounters, the podcast.
You're amazing. You need to come to Hollywood. I'm going to make you famous.
There was this mob of people, and they're screaming my name.
Crazy fans.
Stop following me. Don't come around my house. If you do, the cops are going to be at yours.
I just had a fan get a tattoo of my signature on their arm.
Are you kidding me?
I continually will get stopped. You were on Blue Bloods, weren't you?
Can I take a picture? We're going to... Oh, my God.
I definitely declined signing body parts.
Oh, I don't want to go there.
I'm the only one that's ever been on Sam Jackson and lived to tell about it.
That's why we call it Fancounters.
I don't think you're going to last on the air very long.
You are the best for coming back.
You're the best for calling me back.
Oh, we're like, now we're done. We got what we wanted.
It goes right to voicemail. I just hit the button. No, yeah, let's pick up, man, wherever we let up.
Thank you for doing 2 segments with us.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is a blast. No, dude, I've got time for you, man. That's all good.
So let's talk about stateside. You, if as long as nothing's changed in the last few years, you and Rachel Lee Cook were pretty good friends from what I remember. She was in She's All That. That was kind of her breakout role. But you were in this film called Stateside with her, where who would have thought you'd make a good lead guitarist for the film? But that's what you played, and she was the singer in that
Way
band,
to
right?
stretch those acting chops for you.
Total stretch. Yeah, she was the lead singer, and she played Dory in the film. Stateside. I shot that at Screen Gem Studios.
That's
in
another
North Carolina.
Wilmington project. How about that?
Yeah, part of it was in Wilmington. The other half was at the Whiskey Go in Los Angeles. They started in Wilmington. I don't know, for whatever reason it was. I mean, you would think they'd do everything on a studio lot in Burbank, but they started there, and then they did exteriors, and of course my interior, which is the legendary Whiskey. But I remember meeting Rachel for the first time for quote unquote band rehearsal, because she is not a musician.
Okay.
So she had to pretend to be playing the guitar. And she was terrible at it. I mean, like, some people, man, you just know, there's a certain way of holding a guitar. You know if they know how to play or not. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
It's just like somebody holding a baseball bat. You just know if they know how to hold a bat, if they've ever swung a bat, whatever.
And even the way they strum it, probably.
Dude, and like just holding chords down. I'm like, she did not look comfortable, and she wasn't comfortable holding this guitar. So she had somebody try to help her out with it and everything. And, we were the backup band, and I had dialogue with her, and it was fun. And I don't know, I must have like this some kind of like this thing, this magnet for people to always come up to me, because she had all the other guys to talk to, but she came directly to me, and she was like, do you have a nail clipper?
What an odd question.
What? Yeah, and she was like, yeah, man, I'm supposed to be playing this guitar, and I want to put my nails down a little bit. I'm like, no, I don't have a nail clipper.
Do I look like the kind of guy that has a nail clipper?
Yeah, I know. I guess I look like one of these guys. I might just carry one around with it. So anyway, that was my first conversation with Rachel. And then, of course, the drummer, the guitarist, and I was actually the bass player. We're all proficient. We know how to play, so we're playing the song, and then she gets up there, and she's an actress. I mean, she's a very talented actress, but she was extremely intimidated with the fact that she's playing with actors that really know how to play instruments. So again, she comes up to me and she's like, "Would you mind?" She says, "I hate asking you." I said, "What?" She goes, "Would you mind helping me with this guitar thing?" I said, "Of course not." So we had the whole day to practice with the band. We recorded the song ourselves. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I said, yes. I said, Rachel, first of all, okay, let's sit down with the guitar. You don't want to try standing with it first. Get comfortable with sitting down. Mm-hmm. I said, this is how you hold it. You don't lean it this way. You hold it this way. And if you're going to be strumming it, you don't strum it like this. You're holding your palm too close to the strings. You got to hold it away from the strings. and just let the tip of the pick hit the strings. She's like, oh wow. So then now she was getting interested in it, and I'm showing. Look, the song is simple. It's only 7 or 8 chords throughout the entire thing, and this is the pattern. And that was the hardest part that she had with it, and she didn't have to make the guitar sound. Because, you have to press strings a certain way. So I said, all you have to do is make it, like, just play the chords so that people that do not play guitar, it looks like you're playing the chords.
The right notes, yeah.
And she was like, oh, my God, you're a lifesaver. So I called over the director, I can't remember, his name is slipping me, but he's from England. And I said, what would really help, Rachel? If we had cue cards, like, for every change, it would say, like, G or C or D, the chord. The chord G, C, D, so she knows when to change. And then she already knows, it's almost phonetically, if you want to say it that way, for lack of a better term. She knew a D, oh, that's this chord. Let me play this now. C, play this chord. So I saved her ass by doing this. And we became, seriously, the best friends on set. And we were inseparable after that. And then after the film, of course, you shake your hands, you tip your hats, and you say goodbye. Well, a couple of years later, I'm at Sundance, and I'm doing the show called Click on This, and I'm hosting for the show. And I heard Rachel Lee Cook had a movie. She's playing a vampire in this film, and it's being premiered at the Egyptian Theater. No one can ever get in the Egyptian Theater unless you've had passes a month in advance. And I said, no way. No. I said, I'm coming in. I'm gonna get an interview with Rachel because I work with her. So I get up to the gate, and I'm like, listen, man, I need to talk to Rachel. He's like, yeah, you and about 5,000 other people. I said, no, man. I said, no, this isn't the line. This isn't the line. I was in a movie stateside. Tell her Johnny Alonso's here. And he wouldn't budge. I'm like, dude, just do this for me, man. Do this for me. And then he's looking at me. He's like, all right, fine. So he goes in there and he goes, I told somebody to tell Rachel. I'm like, oh, great. So now it's getting passed down the chain. My name's going to be Nick Daly by the time she gets there. So,
it's a bad game of telephone.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. My producer, the cameras were all waiting, and we were just about to turn around and leave when Rachel comes out and she goes, Johnny Alonso, screams it out in front of everybody.
Wow.
She goes, get over here. She gave me the biggest hug, and I'm hugging her, and I turn her around. We're spinning around, and I look at that guy. I go, see, I told you she knew me. God, it was one of those lines, It was great. It felt so good. And this is in Sundance, man, where all the stars are, and like, I got an interview before Entertainment Tonight could even get an interview with her. So Rachel's like, just give me a second, man. Yeah, I want to talk to you. She's like, who are you with? I said, Click on This. It's a TV show that I work with. She goes, perfect. So, she's signing her autographs, flash bulbs and all that stuff. And in the process of it all, she's like, okay, guys, hold on a second. I got to do this interview with my very good friend. We were in stateside together. And she's saying this to people, and then people are like, oh, he's an actor too. He's not just the host. And then they wanted my autograph. I'm like, dude, you don't want my autograph. So I said, it's really, this is Rachel. Let me just talk to her. Rachel gave me an exclusive interview for literally 15 minutes in the cold. And because, oh God, Sundance is so cold for the festival. And we're outside and we're laughing. And I'm trying to ask her questions, but she just kept asking questions about me the entire interview. And I'm like, Rachel, can I just give you the mic and you interview me? We had that kind of synergy still. It was so much fun. And she said, oh, he saved my butt on set. I can't play guitar still, but he made me look like I was proficient, this, that, and the other thing. And we were talking about the vampire film, and then she was talking about me, and she said, yeah, I saw you in this the other day. And it was really nice, and we made that connection again, and we exchanged numbers later. And then a year after that, she was in D.C. at the Creative Coalition. And once again, we were interviewing a lot of other people, and I said, oh, Rachel's here. So I pulled the same strings and
told the same story.
We had she came out, and I said, roll the camera. She's gonna do an interview with me. As soon as she saw me, she looked at me, she goes, we have to stop meeting like this. Yeah, and she's just so sweet. But no, it was great. We did another interview, and you can just tell we had such a great connection. And I've hung out with her, many times in between those times. I haven't seen her lately. But it was fun. Playing a musician, of course, is one of my favorite roles because I am a musician at heart. And it was easy. And I've learned that playing roles like a musician in a band, it's not just in a band. It's about being you guys are like a band of brothers. You guys are an army. You guys are like a team. The difference with playing in a band on television, it's really about being yourself. And the only way to stick out is to really stick out. In other words, when you're in a band, you all stick out because you're playing live. But on television or film, I learned tricks like, I'm playing the music and I'll turn my back to camera. Because whoever turns their back to camera, everybody wants to face the camera, right? Well, I turn my back to camera, and then I'll just kind of feel like the camera's on me. Then I'll turn around, and then that camera's right on me.
And that's probably the shot they'll use.
That is always the shot they use. You'll see me on Gotham. I'll do the same thing. I have like 3/4 turn back, and then all of a sudden I'll feel like the camera coming up, and I'll turn around, and I'll be like mouthing the words that the lead singer's singing, and that's the shot they always use. So those are the tricks that you learn. Because, the things like that makes it look interesting. It makes it look real, So, let's say, like, if you're playing a bass line or a guitar line and, like, there's a certain lead, you turn your back to the camera, and then when that lead comes up, you turn around and you pull that lead, you're going to get that footage. They're going to use that footage. They're going to use that coverage. It's just stuff that I've learned. And, that's why when you see me in Stateside with Rachel, I'll get real close to her and I'll be like mouthing the words. They used all that footage.
Nice.
So it looked like, that we actually were a band and that we've done this song a million times. And it was fun shooting in the legendary Whiskey. I mean, I've seen bands. I mean, Jim Morrison, their debut show was there, and the Doors. And it's some of the places I've shot have just been so cool. And some of the actors I've worked with have been so awesome. So that was my story
Carrie
with Stateside.
Fisher and Val Kilmer were in Stateside. Did you have any run-ins with them at all?
I didn't see Carrie. I did see Val. I have a story about him, but I don't want to say bad things about him. It was everybody. There was a story about him where he wasn't really happy where his trailer was, and I'll say that on
happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He didn't like where it was.
If you've got a name like Val Kilmer, you have some expectations.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, he didn't like where it was, so he asked everyone to move it, and it delayed shooting literally like the entire day. They had to get everyone move this trailer, and if you don't know these trailers are enormous.
And aren't they moved with semi-trucks?
And they're moved. There you go. You had to bring that truck in, and you had to move another truck. You had to move another trailer. It was just a mess.
Oh, my gosh.
It was just a mess. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what his reasons were, but I mean, he did a hell of a performance in the show. I mean, he's a great actor.
One of the places that you visited more than once, and you just mentioned it, so I'm going to skip ahead to that, is Sundance. And you were hosting the entertainment show, Click on This. And I know that you've had some special access, but for those of you who are more like me listening to this podcast, who have never been to Sundance, can you just sort of sum up what that entire experience is like?
Sundance is more electric than any Hollywood day. Sundance is it's really the high point of the year for anybody that's in the industry. Every actor, when I say every, I mean every actor is there, and you'll see Jack Nicholson just walking around. You see all these people just. I've seen Johnny Depp walking around, just in general, just walking, just walking. I've seen guys from like The Walking Dead just walking. Everyone's there. And Sundance is a very small town. It's very small, so you're bound to bump into everyone. I mean, I'm not kidding. YouTube celebrities, they're just there, and there are deals. Mind you, Sundance has changed within a few years where, like, you really now have to be almost a studio film to get into Sundance. Back in the day, it was all independents, and it's grown. So now you have, like, the $8 million, $10 million, $20 million films that are there. That kind of defeats the purpose of Sundance.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean,
yeah, thank you.
They have the budget to be in the theater, and then they're just there.
Yeah.
It's like...
now they're taking up the spots in, like the independent films, like Rachel Cook's vampire film that was there a few years back, and like Coffin. The indies are now pushed out. Now they're not a big budget films in there. It doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I've interviewed and met like Keanu Reeves, Kevin Bacon. I mean, dude, everybody is there, and it's neat. I mean, it's neat. You're in line for breakfast, and then there's Demi Moore. It's like, whoa, that's kind of weird.
That
It's
won't happen
I didn't know
again.
she liked I didn't know she liked grapefruit. That's kind of neat. So stuff like that. It's interesting. It's like real people. They're on vacation. They're not. They know they're being spotted, but they're not really being spotted. They don't care. And everybody's friendly. And it's a party 24/7. I mean, I was partying with Lenny Kravitz the last time I was there, and his daughter. I mean, it's neat. It's very concentrated. The film screenings are awesome. The red carpets are awesome. They have a lot of Q&A. Sometimes you're not invited to the red carpet, of course not, but to the general public, it's open for Q&A. And you'll have a ton of people asking questions. And most of the actors, not all of them, but I'd say most of the actors are always open to the Q&A. And the Q&A always lasts about an hour. They always say 10 minutes. But, the actors get comfortable. They start talking and BSing with everybody. And everybody's, like, friendly and family. And you would love it, man. You got to take your show out there. You just got to get out there, man. And Kevin Sorbo, who was in Coffin, he's got he calls it his chalet. I'm like, it's a condo, man. Just say condo,
Right.
please. He's like, meet me at my chalet. It's right by the Eddie Bauer tent. And dude, that's another thing too. When you guys get out there, you go to these parties, and they have these events like Eddie Bauer, and they'll have like Izod, and they'll have whatever H&M. You get free stuff.
The
They're giving
gift
out all
bags.
this free merch, man.
there.
It's
I
swag
walked out
bag
with
time.
$1,000. Dude, I walked out with like $1,000 worth of stuff that I like re-gifted and gave out for Christmas presents I think the following year. I'm not kidding, man. Good stuff that you would never buy because it's too expensive. Leather jackets from such and such. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, give me a small, man. Give me one of those, man. Unbelievable. I mean, like they have gifting suites, and I met so many people from like just all the movies, and dude, that's where you got to be. But you kind of have to be established too to get into these things.
We're working on it.
We're
working on it.
You are, and also people, and you got me as a connection. So I mean, dude,
There we go.
We'll get you passes, man. I mean,
I will make it there.
You will,
For sure.
And Sundance is electric, man. You will love it. You will love it.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about some of your television appearances that were based on true stories where you're acting out like a real life event. And typically
Sure.
they were like crime related, like your roles on America's Most Wanted, True Crime,
Yeah.
When Ghosts Attack, Nightmare Next Door, and so on. How much research do you do on the people that you're portraying, and how much real life information is presented to you?
Great questions. Let me start with the second one. Not much. They don't give you a lot of information. They don't give you a lot of information for reasons unknown, and that's why you got to do your own homework. Actors always have to do their own homework. When it comes to like the first question, like let me just broaden this all up. I love doing those kind of crime dramas because there's a lot of fact, but of course you had to add fiction to it, because if you don't add a little bit of like fiction
Gotta
or
make it
acting
more
to it,
entertaining.
yeah, but
Sure.
it makes it more entertaining. It becomes flaccid, and it's just like a news piece. I do a lot of homework. I like doing a lot of homework, and I like that True Crimes with Aphrodite Jones or whatever. I was able to get enough information from it, but I also didn't want to just portray the character, the way it was always mentioned, like in the news media. I mean, again, the guy was an animal. The guy was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also have to have my artistic release. I have to have my way of doing it within boundaries. You cannot change history, So I do my own thing, and if the director doesn't like it, they'll tweak it. That's what the director is for,
Mhm.
So yeah, so I always come prepared with my idea of how I think this guy is gonna work. But then you have certain things like I'm left-handed, so I always have to remember I got to find out if the actor is, or the person in a show like that is left-handed or right-handed. Because if I'm doing everything left-handed, then all of a sudden, you find out the guy killed the person with the right hand. It's not
Right.
going to look. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not gonna
these are little
look
things
right.
that people.
Yeah.
Right, these are little things that people pick up. I mean, really, you got to be. It's very meticulous. So. No, I love those shows, and you have liberty to do things, but there are rules that you have that are applied, But then, like I said, man, they don't give you that much information. You have to do your homework. And thank God for the internet, because that's where you'll find a lot of your stuff. Because back in the day, no one's going to go to the library and go through, like, whatever. I'm like, dude, whatever, man. I'm going to pretend like I know this guy, you know? So, and a lot of that stuff is improv. I will say that. The stuff that you would see, like, on an investigation Discovery, except for that scripted stuff like Aphrodite Jones or A Haunting that I was on. A lot of that stuff is improv. They'll give you a general idea. You know, my agent doesn't submit me for stuff where I don't have dialogue. You know, she doesn't want me to do the stuff where you see the guy talking, but you got narration on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Well, no, those are good places to begin. But when you have a resume, you want to have the bigger roles.
There you go.
Exactly.
You sound like my agent. You sound exactly like my agent, man. That's exactly. She would love you. I mean, that's exactly it. It's like at that point, you don't need narration on top of your stuff. That's your voice. Speak it. Like that Haunting episode I did called Hidden Terror. I did that in Corning, New York, and that town alone, man. When the lights go down, it's an old coal mining town. It is creepy. I mean, it just really set the mood for the show. And to date, that Haunting episode, you're going to watch it all this October. It's the most aired Haunting episode to date from Discovery Channel or whatever network that was on originally. And it airs literally like twice a week in October, because it's like one of the scariest, or one of the, I'm not going to say best written, but it was one of the better written ones from a Haunting series. And I won an award for that. So it was nice to be recognized for my work on that. But those shows, man, those reenactment shows, they're fun. They are fun, and they're a lot looser than like a One Tree Hill or like a Gotham. I mean, they're definitely a lot looser, and the crew's a lot smaller and more bare bones. But the work's just the same. It's on television, right?
Yeah.
That's how I always look at it.
Well,
it's on TV. You're out there.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Michael Mays on our show, who is starring in Gotham, and you were on the show in 2015.
Yes, I was.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Awesomeness. Once again, the quintessential band member. Yes, I was Kaz, and Kaz is the bass player again. I'm a guitar player, but I mean, I know how to wear bass, if that makes any sense.
The bass
I know how
is
to make
easier,
it look,
right? It's only
it is easier. It's only 4 strings. My verse is 6. And not only that, it's just I just think basses look cooler than a guitar, even though I'm a guitarist. I think slinging a low bass, man, just looks more rock and roll. And like I said, I know how to wear bass very well. So the instrument becomes part of your armor. But Gotham, Kaz, Iceberg Lounge, when Penguin was running and owning the Iceberg Lounge, I was one of Penguin's boys. And when you watch the episodes of the Iceberg Lounge with the band, I had a double contract. I was booked as Kaz, and I was also booked as the studio musician that recorded the music that you heard on the show.
Oh, how nice.
So I got a double contract, which meant double money,
That's
which
awesome.
means double residuals, which means everybody's double happy. So the band, we all played the music in Brooklyn in a studio called Studio 9, and we recorded our own music tracks. And so when we had to act like we were playing the music, we actually played the music. We were just playing silently on top of our own music. So it was awesome. And being on Gotham, man, being on those sets, man, it's the way they have it set up at Steiner Studios in Brooklyn. It's the old Navy Yard. It's eternal fall. All the scenes indoors, the sets are eternal fall. So if like the trees, the fake trees or whatever they have out there, the leaves are changing, and that means the room's got to be cold because you're going to be wearing heavier jackets. Dude, it feels like fall all year long in those places. It's so cool, man. It's really neat. And Robin Lord Taylor and I have become very close friends, Penguin. And I've hung out with him a few times. Just one of the most sincere guys you'll ever meet. The bigger the actor, man. I mean, really, with the exception of a few jerks, the bigger the actor, really, the nicer they are, man. Okay, they have nothing to prove. they're really the nicest people. They really are the nicest people. And, you know, if you stay true to yourself and you stay true to the craft and you stay true to everyone, it just makes life a lot easier. You don't need one jerk, you know, ruining everything.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you work with people.
Well, because it brings down the whole entire set. You have one bad actor on there, or somebody that you're tiptoeing around.
Yeah,
Not fun.
yeah.
No.
Hey, I want to
No,
go
it's
back
not
one.
funny.
I'm sorry. I want to go back 1 second, and just because I'm curious to find out, when you recorded the music, were you playing the bass or were you playing the lead guitar?
Good question. I actually played the bass for that one because the guitar is only because the guitar player wanted to play the guitar. That was the only reason. I could have done both for them.
Okay.
But I did play the bass.
I just
Yeah, I
wanted to
did.
know.
I did. Yeah, no, it's great. I did play the bass. I can play bass. Yeah, of course. But yeah, I played the bass in Studio 9. I recorded that, and then I did the bass, of course, on the show. Let me think. Have I ever played guitar on one of my shows? Oh yeah, for the Growing Pains, I did play guitar for that. That was just BS guitar. It was just supposed to be like, you know, kicking around. But no, but yeah, I did play bass for Gotham, and like I said, Robin was just the nicest. He's the only one I ever got a chance to interact with. I didn't interact with anybody else on the show. So anybody will tell you that's ever been on Gotham. I mean, it's one awesome show. It's one. I mean, first of all, the shoot in Brooklyn, the shoot in Manhattan is just that's just a task in itself. I mean, to book in New York is just like, it's a big deal. You know, it really is a big deal. And to be on a show that big in New York is a super big deal. And yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, man, you know, some people have been blessed, and you know, I mean, I think I'm blessed. It's been good. It's been a good life so far. Yeah, it's been a good time.
Well, let's talk about the current project, and I've been waiting this whole entire time to talk to you about this because last night I got to preview Coffin 2, which comes out to Redbox on October the 10th, so go and get that film. But man, I have not seen a lot of sequels that are better than the original, but dang, man, they might have taken 5 years to make this sequel, but they nailed it. You all nailed it.
Dude, thank you. That means a lot to me, man. Thank you. I mean, you know, you're not just a friend. I mean, you're also a director.
And I'm not blowing smoke because Kevin Sorbo did a great job in this, the first one, but and help me out, the tall guy in that movie who's just like
Robert Mukes.
Oh my gosh! First of all, he's awesome, but he makes everybody look like a midget.
Dude,
I mean, he's so intimidating.
Man, I was like, dude. Wait until you see the movie. First of all, he's 6'10".
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'10". I'm not joking. He was in a movie called House of a Thousand Corpses. That's what he's known for.
Oh,
Rob
that's right.
Zombie's
Yes.
film. Yeah, dude. And let me tell you, man, this guy. We'll talk about Robert in a second, and I'll tell you how we met him. Let me get into Coffin 2. Coffin 2 took 5.5 years to come together. For a few reasons, but the main reason was we were all just kind of busy. I mean, I was booking things left and right, and since I played Trick, who's one of the lead roles in the film, I just didn't have any time, and as much as I wanted to, I didn't have any time to do it. And they can't continue. You can't change Trick, because if you still Coffin the original, it's like putting somebody in to play another Luke Skywalker. It just will not work. It doesn't work.
Oh,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, and the original Coffin really ended on a cliffhanger note. It just left you there, and it was in the balance. So years have gone by. We've all been doing things, and we get a call from Artist View Entertainment, our distribution company. They made a lot of money off of Coffin. Their national sales were huge from Kevin Sorbo. You know, people love him all over the world. Bruce Davison's been in it, blah, blah, blah. My career has been up in the rise, and people are like, oh, he's in this movie? Let's check it out. So anyway, Coffin, 5 years later, Artist View's like, look, man, we still get droves of email asking when you're going to be doing a sequel for this film. You have a huge fan base, bigger now than 3 years ago, than 2 years ago, than last year. It's bigger than ever. I mean, everybody keeps asking about this sequel. We want to green light Coffin 2. And fortunately, my director, myself, and some of the key players that were in the original Coffin were available. And we were like, yeah, man, you know, we catered to the idea, we toyed with the idea, but yeah, they want to do it. Yeah, man, they gave us the budget, they want to do it. So waiting 5 years to shoot the film actually helped us because the fan base kept growing. And we just did Scare LA, and I never realized how many people have actually heard of Coffin. I thought nobody's even heard of this movie, and there were so many people that were like, dude, horror fans, even though it's not like a blood horror, it's like more of a psychological horror.
Mm-hmm.
They said, everybody loves your film. It's kind of like the Underground Road Warrior. I'm like, what? Come on, man. Like, I'm not even kidding. 800 people showed up to our Scare LA screening for Coffin 2.
Wow. I bet they all couldn't, they probably all couldn't fit.
Yeah, dude, no, it was standing room only. It was amazing. This is at Scare LA, which was in like the Los Angeles Convention Center. It was amazing.
Wow.
Never felt better in my life. So we shot Coffin 2 again in Los Angeles. We got greenlighted by Artist View Entertainment. And even before day one, Artist View just put a little blurb out. Yay, finally shooting Coffin 2 for all the fanatics that are waiting for the sequel. Horror Society, Dead Central, all the big, underground and horror, websites said, guess what, guys? Finally in production, Coffin 2. And that just made hysteria for the franchise.
Same writer or no?
Yeah, there were two writers for Coffin the original, Kip Tribble and Derek Wingo. Coffin 2 is strictly written by Kip Tribble. Derek is in the film. They were both in Coffin. They both played the cops. Kip now just directed Coffin 2, and Derek just decided to act because he's in New York, and there was just no way he could bounce back from New York to L.A. to help Kip write. Because you know how it is. When you write a script, man, it takes months, and he couldn't leave his family. So that said, he just flew in for the film.
Okay.
So we both flew in. I actually flew in from New York to do Coffin 2. So, once the word was out from Dread Central and Horror Society and Variety, even a little blurb, we went back to Artist View and said, hey, man, all this hype's out. You gave us a budget. That's great. Give us more money. We need more money for this. We need more money. And they were happy to give us more money. Most of the time, people will never bring up the budget, but we got I can say about 40% more. And we already had a good budget, but they gave us that much more so we can actually really, really, really make the film better, looking and feel and sound. And you're right. I'm telling you, man, when you see Coffin the original, it was shot very linear. It was very film-like, just studio film-like, right? When you see Coffin 2, I associated producer this time, and I said, listen, man, I want a completely different look. This is a new breed. And I want Coffin 2 to have a feel of like that movie 8mm meets like 24. I want that kind of feel. And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm like, yeah, well, we got to find an editor that's going to do that because it's got to have that look. You can't make it look like Coffin. It has to be Coffin, but it's got to be 5 years later. So we got to upgrade. And they're like, great. You want to produce more? I said, no, that's all I want to produce. That's it. I just want to act. I can put in my 2 cents. I'm an associate producer. That's it. And I'll talk to you about producing in a second. So anyway, the movie, I booked Laura James, who was in America's Next Top Model. She's been dying to get into films. She's one talented actress. And unfortunately for her, her beauty, sometimes being too pretty will hurt you in Hollywood to be an actor. She's also a model, so she's taller than most guys. So, leading men, she can't work against leading men, even though her acting is so good. I met her on the set of Chronology when I was shooting with Danny Trejo and William Baldwin, and Laura and I became good friends. I became good friends with her father, who used to be on Dynasty, John James. And he was like, if you can get Laura in a film, dude, she would love it. And I put her in Chronology. And Robert Muse, same thing. Robert Muse, he's 6'10".
Oh my
and
gosh.
he was like, he's enormous. He's like, dude, he said, I'd love to work with you. I love Coffin. And I said, we'll find something for you. We made him the villain. A 6'10", big guy, extremely intimidating. He loves our franchise so much because most of the movies he's done, House of a Thousand Corpses, he's been Sons of Anarchy. He's done all these things, but he's always playing like the doorman that has 5 lines, the intimidating biker that has like 6 lines. I gave him a role where he was like 300, 500 lines deep. And he went, when he got the contract and we signed contracts with him, he went to his coach and he studied every day for like 5 weeks before he filmed. And he pulled off this character like no other. I'm serious. he couldn't thank us enough. Laura can't thank us enough. And that's the thing about acting, man. Like I said, you don't have to be the best actor, man. As long as you have something that somebody likes about you, you're going to get cast. And I saw desperation, but I saw admiration with them at the same time. Like, my God, we saw your movie, and this, that, and the other thing. So I said Coffin 2 is going to be better than Coffin 1 because we're going to be using a lot of, they're names, but they're like underground big names.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to now really push ourselves forward with this. The film is fast. It's wicked. It's a lot more dark. This is actually classified more of a horror story versus Coffin, the original.
Even the flashbacks, the way you talked about the editing, the way that those were edited in were like brilliant. It was brilliant. Dude. And can I tell you who I thought is really going to benefit from this film? Is Michelle Martin. She was fabulous in that movie. Like,
totally.
I don't want to give too much away, but she gets kidnapped. If that's okay that I say that, is that okay?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Sure. But the believability of her for you to think that could actually happen to you, I mean, she brought it. She brought it.
Totally, man, dude. Michelle Martin and I it was the first time that we got to work with each other, and we were working in that cage, if you remember, where all the hostages are the entire time. She was great to work with because she's about as hyper as I am, and like when you're pulling 14-hour days, man, you need people with energy to keep everybody else's motivation up. And she was just a joy to be with. She knew her lines, sharp as a tack. And she attacked her lines the way I attack my lines. I go for the jugular first, and if it's too much, then you pull back.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of actors work the other way. They're kind of mediocre, and then the director has to bring them up. Sometimes it's impossible. It's always best to go high than come down. And Michelle and I, you saw. There's so many twists in this film that you will get lost in it after a while. And then when you finally see the ending, you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you don't see.
I never saw that. Not at all. It's very Alfred Hitchcock meets Twilight Zone, and of course, once again, it's kind of left on a cliff. It's left on that note. We just got greenlighted for Coffin 3, so I'm excited about this. And to even have a sequel in Hollywood, man, I'm so stoked about. Now we got the third, and that's going to be fun. And I can tell you my character Trick. This will be the reprise. I mean, this will be the last film that he does. I mean, I think he'll be killed off in 3, but by this time, Trick is going to be very he's going to be very Bodie, like from Point Break. I mean, he wants to be caught at this point. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be. He's damaged to the point where he's just tired of being damaged. It's really neat. I might put Corey Feldman in. I've been talking to him, and now Trick's got a gang, and I might get Corey to be one of my gang mates. So I mean, this is going to be neat. So I got some good. There is a partial script. I know that we've been talking a little treatment for things, but of course, you know how these writers are. They're like, unless money's in the bank, I'm not writing word one down. So we're waiting on that. But getting back to Coffin 2, the premiere went out last month in Bev Hills. It went off like a rocket. I mean, it was in a smaller theater at the Lemley on Wilshire. And I mean, it was just red carpet event, dude, on Wilshire. Dude, I mean, how awesome is that? It was just so much fun, and the reception was huge. And our distribution companies were there, and the actors were there, and it was just a real cool time. And that's what you work for, man. You work for the film, of course, but then you work for, not for the praise, but you work for the recognition of being an actor. There's so many actors that, want to be recognized, but for all the wrong reasons. Myself, I like being recognized for my work.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know I'm an actor. That's all I need to know. That's all anybody needs to know if they want to know. But I want you to see my acting, and that's where it is. So when you get that recognition from, a premiere, or somebody sees your TV show, and then the following day they catch you in the street, it's nice. It's nice hearing that, And I hey, there's also negatives. They're like, "Oh, dude, you suck." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks for telling me."
Oh,
that's
there's
fine.
always haters. You know?
There's always haters. Oh, dude, I got more haters than you could possibly imagine. And you know what? That's fine. It means I'm doing something right. Honestly, that's what it really means. Haters put your name out there to other haters. And some of those haters will say, you know what? That person really wasn't that bad. So, everybody's got haters, even in regular life. Priests have haters. Dog walkers have haters. Everybody's got haters. And it's just a part of life, man. And if someone has a problem with people disliking their work or bad mouthing them or being rejected, acting and being in the entertainment industry is not a profession you should try to get into. I can tell you that now. Even like with this cast that you have, with this show that we're recording right now, you're going to have people that are like, oh, man, I could do something better than this. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, well, go ahead, do it. Go, do it. Prove to me you can do it. And if you can, good for you. I'm not going to say anything about you, but, someone's always got to strike first. That's just part of the deal. People are always looking for new outlets for new media. And we need guys like you doing stuff like this, guys. And we do. We do. It's great advertising.
I want to talk real briefly, Johnny, about this project that you did, another Batman project, Master of Fear. It was just released September 1st. You played Bruce Wayne. You got to play the man.
Yeah.
I just want to walk around and say that all day. I'm Batman.
Oh, I did for about a week until my brother said, shut up, dude. That ain't happening with us. Yeah. Shut up. That's so East Coast. Like, no, man. You ain't, so stop.
Was that intended to be a pilot, or are there going to be more of these? Was that a short? What's going
absolutely.
on?
Absolutely, yes. What Batman, Master of Fear? They called my agent because of Gotham, and they were like, these are young dudes. And when I say young dudes, seriously, they're like 19, 20, 21. These guys are young, and I love working with the millennials. I'll say because. They know what they're doing. They know what old school knows old school and trying to be new school. Sorry, man. The new school is new school, and they know their way around a computer. They know it better than these old salts. I'm sorry. I try knocking me down. I'll give you a million examples. These guys from Batman Master of Fear got in touch with my agent and said, we know he's probably going to say no. We know he's probably too expensive, this, that, and the other thing, just like typical kids would say. But we'd love for him to read it. And my agent was like, okay, fine. So she sent me the email. And I read it, and I was like, whoa. They want me to play this totally different Bruce Wayne, which is, really like a punk rock Bruce Wayne. This guy is like completely different. He's like the typical spoiled Bruce Wayne, lots of money, silver spoon in his mouth. But he's got like, the cool hair that I've got. He's completely different, And I was like, dude, it's a great spin. But aren't some Batman fanatics going to go, aren't they going to hate it? And he goes, and their answer was, do we care?
I was going to say, so, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And I said, what days are you shooting? I'm on. That's the kind of attitude that I'm looking for. And I'm telling you, man, I shot in St. Louis and in Chicago with these cats. I don't know any martial arts. I have a hard time walking in combat boots, man. I'm the worst. I'm so bad. They trained me to do stick fighting in this one scene, and it's basically a dance routine. You just got to know the steps and when you got to hit and when you got to, punch. And dude, let me tell you, man, and it was real time. I look like a triple black belt when they were done with me.
You did. That's why I said, is this a new skill you're pursuing in your personal life? Because it looked good.
No, thank you very much. Well, I'm going to have to because, we're shooting more. So, yes. I can't give away too much. They just gave a hint with that one little first episode or that little trailer, whatever they put out.
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the premiere, unfortunately, because I was filming, and they did it in Chicago, and it was, once again, the applause was it was well received. And they're like, too bad the guy playing Bruce wasn't here. Like, he's a working actor. He couldn't make it. But, all I can say is the next episode, because they got a budget for it, it opens up with just picture a huge ballroom, like a cotillion ballroom with everybody dressed in black tie and women dressed to the nines. And here comes Bruce Wayne, and I've got this cool suit on, but the tie is loose and my hair's jacked up, spiked. It's going to be neat, man. Yeah, dude, it's a completely different Batman.
How many of these have you done?
I've done 5 episodes for them already. Very
Wow.
excited, man. Very excited. Yeah, and it's neat. It's neat. I mean, the guys that wrote it, Richie and Matthew, I mean, hats off to them. They when they put their trailer up, like this 15, 20-second trailer, we're thinking, okay, we're going to get like 95,000 thumbs down within the first second. 17,000 views in literally 1 hour. People say, when is this coming out? Because usually when you do like martial arts, it's always cut to the face, so you don't really see anything. No, dude, everything is shot from a wide angle, from the master shot. So, dude,
there are no cuts.
Yeah, you cut. Yeah, there are no cuts, and it's done, dude. I mean, with a circular dolly track, with my scene in particular, with the martial arts, with the stick fighting, where we're really hitting each other. Bang, 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 bang. Stop. Looking at each other. He's spinning the stick. Bang, bang, bang. Punch, bang. I mean, dude, it was unreal. On the ground, ready to hit him, and then all of a sudden you hear in the distance, Master Wayne. It's what's his face, Alfred. Phone call, and then you see me looking up, and I'm breathing really heavy, and it was just one of my guys that we were actually just practicing my martial art. Dude, you can picture it. It is so cool. And like I said, I'm not the typical stereotypical Bruce Wayne. Definitely not. And I'm like, okay, here come more haters for me. But I was just like, wait a minute, but we do it this way. The way you guys are saying, you don't care? You don't care if we get haters? Let's do it. And you should see Alfred. Alfred looks nothing like the Alfred you're thinking, okay? That's all I got to say.
Well, let's talk about Alfred real quick. Tell me his name, and then I want to tell you something. Tell me his name.
I can't remember his name now. You got me.
I'll tell you his name.
Do you know his name?
Rick Montgomery Jr.
Rick Montgomery. There you are.
Do you know why I know that?
How do you know this?
He starred in my very first short film I ever made myself.
You're kidding me.
I'm dead serious. It was called Put Out the Light. It might even be on YouTube. I don't know. But it was about a girl who kills herself because her parents are mistreating her, and he's the dad who's mistreating her.
Oh, my God. What a small world.
That's
Nick,
what I'm saying. It's like the connections are crazy.
Dude, and am I right? He's not the stereotypical Bruce Wayne?
No, he's not.
The stereotypical Alfred? He is not.
No, he's an awesome guy to work with, though. So easy, takes direction, can give you whatever you want. It's pretty amazing.
Perfect acting. I mean, put it this way. I don't know when the last time you saw him, Alfred has long hair. This guy is completely not the refined Alfred. I mean, this guy is super cool. I mean, super cool.
Yeah, I stopped breathing for a second when I saw him in that project, and I was like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, I know this guy.
Like I said, when you're in the business long enough, you tend to work with some of the usual suspects, as I like to call them. And, yeah, I mean, you build a family, and it's really sad because, you make a lot of friends on these sets, but unlike an office, like I said, you tip your hat, you shake your hand, you say goodbye.
So our show is called Fancounters, and we're always asking our guests about their interactions with their fans. And we want to hear about both people who are your fans and who you are a fan of.
Oh, wow.
Now, you told me you had a crazy stalker story.
Yes. Well, there are a couple of them, actually, but let me see. I can tell you, well, that one's just too detailed. Let me start with just the regular. We'll go into that. Okay, yeah. I'll tell you about that. We'll go to the regular fans. I've been stopped a lot. Yes. You get stopped a lot when you have stuff that's in circulation. So, like, if you're in a movie and the movie is a hit and people see it, yeah, you get spotted. If you're in New York, especially, you always, I mean, with so many people that you do get spotted, especially if you're on Gotham. They'll recognize you in a heartbeat. I also do that click on this show. And since we travel all over the country and shoot that, sometimes you'll go back to those places and like, oh man, I just saw you on that thing. It's neat. You got to interact with fans. I mean, fans make you.
That's how this world runs.
Exactly. And unfortunately, it's a popularity contest. Yeah, I always say that. That's what I hate about this business. So I don't believe in numbers. I don't believe in numbers like a star meter on this and that. It's a popularity contest. I'd rather be popular with my acting versus popularity for just, being popular. I think that's stupid. Value is with what you bring. It's not value with just your name. And unfortunately in Hollywood, they look at all those ratings because they're like, oh, well, this person has this many fans. Dude, fine. They got 100 million fans on Instagram.
But how many
Does
people
that
are going to
really
go out and buy the movie or
Yeah.
go to the movie? Yeah.
There you go, dude.
It doesn't
look,
always correlate.
It doesn't correlate. Look, perfect example. Laura James, my dear friend from Coffin 2 and Chronology. She's an international model. She has like over 150,000 fans on Instagram, right? Followers. But she said to all of us, yes, I have big numbers on Twitter, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. But those are model fans. They don't know me from my acting. You see what I mean?
Yep.
Has nothing to do with acting. So, yeah, they don't know she acts. They just know she models. And that's the thing. So, yeah, she might put the word out, but they might not be interested in seeing her movie. So those numbers, for me, are crap. Getting back to the fans. Yeah, fans are what make you or break you. And sometimes you will have stalker fans. And, oh, my God. I had this one. I can't mention names, but I mean, I had this one. Yeah, I can't mention names, but I've had one stalker that was, I mean, just to the point where, literally, if I put something on social media, they would answer immediately, and they said that they lived in this. I can't remember, like in Florida or whatever. Come to find out, the real location was maybe 5 blocks down from Mission Beach. I mean, it was that
where
crazy.
You go every day.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. So that's why every time I say something, I guess, it would pop up immediately on their feed. They knew where I was, and they'd be like, oh, my God, I've been to that place before. I'm thinking, how the hell have you been to this coffee house when you're in
Florida?
Lady Lakes, Florida. Meanwhile, they're literally right around the corner. And I'd have parties at my place sometimes, and, like, sometimes there'd be this random person, and I'm like, man, that person keeps walking back and forth. This is kind of strange, dude. And it got to the point where I had to confront and said, hey, what's wrong with you? Do we know each other? You're Johnny Alonso. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm such and such. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, wait a minute. You're from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I said, I thought you were on the East Coast. No. I just say I am. I'm like, that's
scary,
that's
man.
Weird. Yeah, no, it really was. And then after that interaction, I'm not kidding. I go to the Ralph. That's the supermarkets out here. I go to the Ralphs, or I go to I check out a surfing competition early in the morning. I swear to you, this person would be there, just watching me. I'm like, that's it, done. So I never had to call the cops. But I had to confront, and I had to be a little more of the East Coast me. And I said, look, this is going to have to stop, because if not, I'm calling my Uncle Louie back in Brooklyn, and you're not going to want that to happen. And that was it. No, dude, it was bad. I mean, it's kind of scary. So I can only imagine what it's like for women. Yeah. I can only imagine what it's like, dude. It's I don't know how a lot of women handle it, and women have it all the time. Guys are weird like that. But I mean, this woman, whatever, was just a little out of control. And to this day, I still feel kind of bad because I don't like telling people off. Right. It's not me, Yeah, I mean, you give me a few whiskeys, and yeah, definitely I'll tell anybody off. But that was just, I had to put my foot down, and I was like, look, I'm an actor when I'm on set and when I'm getting paid.
Right.
But other than that, I'm just me, and I'm living my life as you should be living your life, just doing your own thing. So, it's kind of invading my space. I'm trying to say this to you as nicely as possible, and it was very hard to let this person down. She couldn't get it, and then I just kind of snapped and I said, look, stop following me. Don't come around my house. If you do, the cops are going to be at yours. Yeah. And that was the end of it. Oh, dude, it was bad. So, I had to block her, and it just made everybody feel uncomfortable, and it does happen. And this is at my level, and that's the lowest level. I mean, I'm talking about my level of acting. I'm not nearly where I want to be, and that's already happened and happening now. So,
yeah,
that's why actors are very private. Yeah, they become very private life. Acting can be a very lonely world. I can only imagine what it's like for Samuel L. Jackson or for Demi Moore or for Rachel Lee. Well, I knew because I used to hang out with her. I mean, just mobs of people. You always have to look good. You can never go out just with your hair pulled back or on a baseball cap. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
and that's the
Yeah,
thing. I'm waiting to interview an A-lister because I want to ask, do you do your own grocery shopping? You know, like,
Yeah.
how can
Yeah.
you?
You can't. Sometimes you can't. Dude, I mean, like, you go to Baltimore. I did click on this. I did the Ravens countdown to kickoff.
Uh-huh.
Good luck to the Ravens this year. But anyway, I was invited. They flew me back out there, and I'm doing all these interviews. I'm not kidding, guys. When I got to the fairgrounds, it was almost like I felt like a Beatle. Beatlemania. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, look who it is!" And because everybody in Baltimore, like you said, knows me. But I'm not using me as an example. It's just like everybody just kind of knows everyone. I had to be nice. I mean, and I am nice to everyone, but it was like constant talking, shaking hands, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's only can I take a picture?" Sure, it only takes 10 or 15 seconds for a picture, but if you got 500 people wanting a picture, do the math.
Right.
It's a lot of time for the actor, so it gets very tiring. And I still had to do these interviews, and I'm trying to do the interviews, and I'm talking to Kirk McEwen from 98 Rock. Yeah, people are calling my name behind me, and I'm thinking I feel bad for Kirk because he's supposed to be the celebrity in this interview, and they're talking to me. You know, yeah. So, and here I am trying to cater, and you know, it was really difficult, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's nice being noticed, and it's nice being in the spotlight, but it is tiring, guys. If you're not ready for it, if you're not ready for it, stay away from it because it's exhausting. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm almost like an A-lister. I come out here, I'm just like everybody else. It's fine. I do my own shopping, of course. Man, I walk the dog. It's all good. But I know for a fact, like, you know, you go to Hollywood, you'll see guys pull down with their ball caps down, the baseball caps down so you can't see their face.
Mm-hmm.
You know there's
You have
somebody.
to assume it's somebody, yeah. Hey, before we conclude the interview, just a really interesting story I've been wanting to share because I invited this person on the podcast and never heard from her. And Johnny, you'll appreciate this because you're a sports guy. The Milwaukee Brewers, if you've ever seen one of their games, their home games, there's a woman that sits in the front row. Her name is Front Row Amy. Front Row Amy is popular because she has a big chest and she will wear low-cut tops. So she's behind home plate after every pitch. You know, that's the angle that they use. So she has many fans. So I didn't really get how like popular she was, but she wasn't answering my email to appear on the show because she's a popular icon person who's had some national attention. So I went down. Yeah, exactly. Have you heard of her or no?
No, but I've
never even heard of her, and I live here.
Well, no, you'll both be watching more Brewer games. I'll tell you that. So anyway, after a Brewer game, I went down to where she sits, and I waited for the game to be over so I could go down and ask her in person, say, "Hey, look, I'm the one who sent you the email. Will you be on the show?" So I go down there, and I had to wait a good 10 or 15 minutes while all these sleazeballs came in. "Can I get a picture with you?"
Shut the front door.
I'm so serious.
Oh my gosh.
So after I did my spiel, and she was like, I could tell she wasn't into like doing this. And she goes, "I really don't do press anymore," and whatever. But here's where I'm getting to with the story. This creepy guy's like waiting for me to get done. He's listening to every word, and I'm just like real creeped out by him. So if I'm creeped out by him, she must be.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm going to walk you to the parking lot." And I'm thinking, you're the last guy walking her to the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm going to walk you to the parking lot. That'll be the last walk you take. I'm telling you right now, man. No, dude, it's true. Dude, no one says no to press. Period.
She's probably a one-trick pony. And you can see those tricks from the TV.
Yeah, dude. Getting to the fans, creepy fans, dude. They are out there. And like I said, my incident, I've had a couple. I've had a few. I told you about one. And the one that I told you was a little more recent. It's nuts. And like for actors, for A-listers, I can only imagine what it's like. I know a lot of actors. The guy in Coffin, the bald guy in Coffin, Patrick Barnett, hell of an actor. He is Taylor Swift's personal bodyguard. So he tells me that, of course, Patrick's a hell of an actor. He's a wonderful guy. Yeah. And he said that Taylor, she's a wonderful actor. I've never met her yet. She's a wonderful singer. But he said, yes, Swiftie doesn't go out. She's confined in her house. If she goes out, she's mauled. And in order for her to go out, Patrick has to get a fleet of security guards to go out with her, so she's never really going out. You see, it's terrible. Terrible.
That's
so
not
you
a
confine
life.
your home. No, it's not. That's why you got to buy these multi-million-dollar homes with all this property to kind of compensate for the time that you're in there. Hey, dude, I can't even imagine what that's like. 'Cause I like my freedom to ride my my motorcycle anywhere I want to go. Go skateboarding, hit the park.
Mm-hmm.
I like stuff like that. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be that way. It would suck. It would really suck. And like I said, you have to cater to people and be friendly. 'Cause, I mean, the second you're a jerk in public, that's all any press hears. They never hear about how great you are. They only want to hear about how bad you are.
Man, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. It's just,
Dude, it's been my pleasure. I hope I wasn't too all over the spectrum with my answers. My agent always says I gotta lasso me in, but I think too fast sometimes. So I hope it wasn't too convoluted.
No, it was passion filled.
Yeah, no, we've had a ball. Thank you.
No, it was awesome talking to you guys.
Where can people find you on social media?
Sure. You can find me on social media at nickbailey.com. And you can forward all the hate mail there. That's perfect. Let me think. No, of course. JohnnyAlonso.com. That's my website. So social media, Instagram, Johnny.Alonso. Twitter, Johnny Alonso. You can also find me on Facebook under Johnny Alonso, but I think I may have hit the cap of friends. But if you hit me on my JohnnyAlonso.com, my official website, emails. You can send me email there, or just get into contact with me, and my agent always forwards everything. I get everything through there, so that's never a problem. Or hit me up on Instagram. It's no problem.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You can find us on social media by going to Facebook, search for Fancounters. You can visit our website at fancounters.com. And if you'd like, we'd love to hear from you. If you have an encounter with a celebrity of your own, send it along. We're going to dedicate a whole show at some point to reading these stories that you send us to hello@fancounters.com. Anything else from you?
No, but this two-parter has been quite amazing. He has some fantastic stories, and I hope you've all enjoyed listening to him because he's an extremely passionate man.
Very. And you thought you were just coming here to tape one show. She
I
comes
did.
in complaining, we really got to do two in one time.
And look at that, I got 2 out of the same day.
Bam. Your wish is my command.
Oh, I appreciate that. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for joining us.